Welcome to this ICSE Masterclass Explainer. I'm taking my 25 years of board grading experience and using it to make sure you score absolutely perfectly on William Sleator's psychological thriller, The Elevator. We're bypassing the basic reading today. We're going straight to the exact details, the hidden meanings, and the specific phrasing that examiners are actively looking for. So grab your notebooks, let's get focused, and let's crush this chapter. Here's our exact exam blueprint for today. We're covering the chapter summary, core themes, textual quotes to memorize, expected board questions, and finally, a call to action. Section 1, Chapter Summary, Escalating Psychological Torment. So, let's dive right into the foundation of Martin's psychological torment and his escalating tension with that mysterious lady. For plot-based questions, you really need to know this sequence backward and forward. This timeline just brilliantly maps out Martin's inescapable dread. It kicks off on day 1 when Martin, a highly anxious 12-year-old, moves into this incredibly claustrophobic apartment all the way up on the 17th floor. Just imagine having a severe phobia of elevators and having to live on the 17th floor. Then, day 2, the tension completely spikes with his first encounter with the fat lady. She waddles in, wearing this enormous green coat, totally invading his space and just staring at him with these sharp, piercing eyes. By day 3, Martin makes a desperate attempt to avoid his fear altogether by taking the dark, windowless stairs. But, well, this leads to disaster. He falls, breaks his leg, ends up on crutches, and suddenly, his only escape route is gone. And that brings us to day 4, the terrifying climax. Coming back from the hospital, his father casually steps off at the 9th floor, completely abandoning a vulnerable, immobilized Martin alone in the elevator. And guess who steps in? The fat lady. It is literally a masterclass in narrative pacing. Section 2, Core Themes, Analytical Layers. Now, if you're aiming for that perfect score, you can't just recount the plot. You absolutely must demonstrate maturity by weaving these specific themes into your answers. First up, claustrophobia and isolation. Martin isn't just physically trapped in a tiny, poorly lit box, he's emotionally isolated, completely unable to connect with anyone. Next, we have the toxic father-son dynamic. His dad is emotionally distant and entirely dismissive of Martin's very genuine anxieties, which ties directly into our third theme, vulnerability versus toxic masculinity. The father demands stoicism. He tells Martin to grow up and act like a man, writing off his phobias as just pure cowardice. And finally, the ambiguity of fear. Is the fat lady real, or is she a psychological manifestation of his own dread? Let me tell you, examiners absolutely love it when you explore that ambiguity. Section 3, Textual Quotes to Memorize Verbatim Evidence. To level up from a good answer to a flawless one, you have to quote the text verbatim. It shows the examiner you've truly mastered the source material. Memorize this exact phrasing to describe the physical intrusion and menacing aura of the fat lady. It beautifully captures Martin's extreme social anxiety. Sleator uses this vivid, kind of grotesque imagery, the huge, massive neck, the sharp, tiny eyes, to make you, the reader, physically feel Martin's discomfort. The phrase boring into is incredibly powerful here. It shows that her stare isn't just rude. It feels like a literal physical attack on his personal space. And notice how she doesn't even turn around to face the door. She just stares directly at him, completely amplifying his claustrophobia. You also absolutely need to use this next quote to expose the father's toxic masculinity and total lack of parental empathy. Pay super close attention to the phrasing here. His face seemed to say. The father doesn't actually speak these words out loud. He just frowns at Martin while the poor kid is gasping for breath after taking the stairs. Martin internalizes that judgment. It really highlights how deeply he feels his father's disappointment. If you get a question asking for a character sketch of the father, this quote is a must-have to show how his demand for stoicism emotionally isolates and damages his son. And then there's this one. This brilliantly illustrates the ultimate cliffhanger. It's a short, chilling sentence that you have to use when analyzing the story's unresolved, horrifying climax. Think about it. Up until this exact moment, she hasn't spoken a single word in the entire story. The fact that she actually knows his name, hello, Martin, validates all of his worst, most paranoid fears. She knows who he is, she knows what floor he lives on, and now she has him trapped. It leaves us hanging in absolute suspense. Use this quote to discuss how the author leverages the psychological horror of the unknown to leave a permanent mark on the reader. Section 4, Expected Board Questions, the Examiner's Mind. All right, let's look at the practical application. We need to get right into the examiner's mind so you aren't caught off guard in the exam hall. You're going to ace the extract sections by recalling highly specific setting details. Remember, the setting itself is basically a character in this story. You've got to mention the elevator's strict 3-person limit, even though it felt insanely crowded with just 2. Mention the poor lighting, the dirty walls, and how the door never stayed open long enough, always slamming shut with that loud clanging noise. It even shuddered like it was exhausted. And don't forget the alternative, those echoing, windowless, dark cement stairs where he constantly felt like someone was following him. Giving these concrete details proves to the examiner that you didn't just skim a summary. You know this text inside and out. Next up, character analysis questions. For these, you want to strongly contrast Martin's internalized vulnerability right against his father's dismissive, toxic masculinity. Martin is timid, physically weak, anxious, and deeply introspective. He is battling severe claustrophobia and the trauma of being bullied at school. On the flip side, his father is impatient, heavily values stoicism, tells his son to just grow up, and completely ignores Martin's emotional needs. This dynamic is a game changer because it's the father's complete lack of support that ultimately leaves Martin totally unprotected. Highlighting that stark contrast, that's your secret weapon for a high-scoring character sketch. Finally, we have the critical thinking questions. The board loves, and I mean loves, to ask about the ending. For these, examiners want to see you debate the exact ambiguity of the climax. There's no single correct answer here, but arguing the psychological angle really shows true academic maturity. Is she a real, malevolent physical threat, or is she a terrifying psychological manifestation of his own paranoia, born from his fears and amplified by his dad's neglect? You should definitely acknowledge both possibilities, but let me tell you, leaning into the psychological horror makes for a much stronger, more analytical essay. Section 5. Call to action. Secure your perfect score. You now have the exact blueprint to conquer this chapter. So let's lock in that perfect score. Follow these 2 steps right now. First, subscribe to the ICSE Masterclass YouTube channel for more high-performance explainer lectures just like this one. Second, join the Telegram channel immediately to download the free, premium handwritten notes and the expected question bank for the elevator. Take action right now, because ultimately, you have to ask yourself, are you going to confront your academic fears and prepare effectively, or are you going to let them push the stop button on your potential?